wrapping up our interview, a woman showed up.
What are you doing in the house? Are you renting this house? Why are you here?
She unlocked the front door, saw our cameras, and took off.
It's open. Let's go in the house. It's open.
Adele and her daughter, with the property deed in hand, went inside.
This is my furniture. These are my curtains.
She didn't just find her belongings inside.
There's a man sleeping right there. Get out of my house.
She found two men.
How long have you lived here?
I moved in about 2 days ago.
They've called the police on me, and I've called the locksmith. I didn't come in illegally. The door was open.
Police started interviewing neighbors and looking for documents.
Do you have something that shows that you've been here for more than 30 days?
They took the man who told me he had been renting for 2 days out in handcuffs.
They got one out.
And escorted the other guy off the property.
Now you're afraid to come out.
I'm not coming out. This house is empty. This is my home. My locksmith is on the corner waiting to change my locks. And it's not fair. It's not fair that I, as the homeowner, should be having to go through this.
How you doing?
Minutes later, a locksmith showed up. But police gave her a warning before they left.
I may end up in handcuffs today if this man shows up here and says that I have illegally evicted him. I said to them, let him take me to court the way I've been told to take him to court. But today, I'm not leaving my house.
Less than 10 minutes after police left and the locks were changed. The man who claims to be the one actually leasing the house shows up.
Call the police again.
With the other guy, police took off the property.
Do you see this? This guy just literally broke down my door, broke through myself and my daughter to get in here. This guy just forced himself into my house. No, he did not. Yes, he did. No, he did. And so did you. You broke through the front door.
Officer.
The man called the police on her.
So why is it that I have to leave and he doesn't have to leave?
Because technically he can't be kicked out. We need to go to court.
They consider this a landlord-tenant issue. And by law, it has to be handled through the housing court, not with police.
So basically, you have the mental damage that communists suffer from, where they collectively decided in the academia, and then they passed it on to their impressionable students, that the greatest evil that the world has ever created is the homeowner. They believe that being a homeowner means that you just print money out of thin air. You're like Joe Biden. You're like the Democrats. You can just wield money into existence. But unlike the Democrats, you do not have the sanctity and the purity of heart that they do, so you shouldn't be allowed to print money. The thing is, though, right, like none of them are homeowners. None of them rented a home. They do not know that there are rules and regulations that you can apply to the homeowner that are common sense, such as like making sure that there's electricity, water, and he fixes the utilities. And, it's a business like any other. You're not going to make a killing out of renting one house. They usually do not go after the slumlords. They usually do not go after the corporations that rent houses. In fact, they're the useful idiots of those corporations, because by constantly going against the individuals that happen to have an extra house and they just want to rent it, and they target those individuals, eventually those individuals will take their houses off the market. So the only thing left is going to be the slumlords. The only thing left is going to be the corporations that will not joke around. They just send security and they evict people. Like they also can use underhanded means. They can send enforcers or gangsters in order to deal with this outside of the courts. So they don't have to deal with any of this bullshit. Meanwhile, this lady does. Right? So now this lady finds herself arrested because she took a person that was illegally in her house. Like, she didn't have a contract with that guy. And she took him outside. And because of that, she's now getting arrested. What madness is this, by the way? And it's all done because of the left constantly pushing for these types of legislations, which, again, I don't even think you can find them outside of Portland, New York, and California. Like anywhere else on the world, it's just not normal. But I would like to point out that this is the main line of thinking. If you guys remember during the pandemic, where the Democrats pushed for the eviction moratorium. So the CDC, which is not a governing entity, like they're not supposed to make legislation, they decided that, well, actually, you're not supposed to evict people, right? So even if you have a tenant that's not paying, or it's even destroying your property or doing whatever, you're not supposed to evict them under any circumstance. However, your bank can evict you, right? So like, it's so dangerous outside. Everyone is dying from COVID. It's like the plague, right? If you're outside on the streets, you're dead. So in order to save human lives, we're not going to allow homeowners to evict the tenants. But if you're a bank, if you're BlackRock, and you want to evict the person that can't pay the mortgage, then he can be evicted, right? So only BlackRock can decide over life or death, I guess, according to the CDC moratorium. Look, it's also disgusting, and I read a case which I found to be absolutely hilarious. There was a homeowner which had the same issue. So what he did is he drew up a lease for his daughter for the time that he acquired the house, and then he had the daughter call the cops claiming that the actual squatters evicted her and changed the locks. So you have to do all of these legal loopholes and things that shouldn't even be done, right? Because when you make your daughter be the renter, like your daughter rents the space, now she has more legal rights than the homeowner himself. And what this does, by the way, is it gets people to be less likely to rent homes. And when people are less likely to rent homes, the price of the homes on the market goes up. But communists don't understand the economy. The more educated they are, the more dumb they get. So they literally think that by scaring people to rent their homes due to these types of laws, somehow through the magic of communism, rent will go down. And you know, like this whole idea, it's like, okay, so you have a team of people that work in order to construct a home, right? Like you have the people that take the materials from the ground, so like the stone, the cement, you know, like they mine those resources. Then you have like the truckers that carry them all the way to the store, and then you have like the building team that takes it from the store into your place and they start building. So all of that human energy, all of that effort, right? Someone pays for it, right? But apparently the person who pays for it just loses everything they purchased the moment the squatter decides to move in. Because now the squatter who didn't do any of that gains the magical right of having ownership of your property through the magic of squatting and communism. Many such cases, but I guess like this one in particular got into the news. I don't know why, but it's not surprising. Like anyone that knows the legislation in New York or in California would understand. I guess maybe it's because she's a rich woman, so that's why it got into the news, because apparently this is $1 million house. But if you read the papers daily, you'll see many such cases. And especially if you're online and you're talking to people, everyone knows someone that underwent a similar thing. And many people have 2 or 3 homes and they don't rent it. How do you get 2 or 3 homes? Well, imagine that you have 2 parents. I know, shocking for leftists. But like one parent has one house before marriage that he inherited, and the other parent also has one house before marriage. So after both parents die, well, you have 2 houses now. What do you do? Well, you're supposed to rent one, right? But no, you're going to hoard it. You're going to keep it for rainy days. Because if you rent it, you end up with this stuff. Absolute clown world. Let me know what you guys think. And as usual, I'll see you in the comment section. Take care.